So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show in the world. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have something special lined up from you. You know, what these Muppet Boiler Room secondary great watch market channels won't dare to tell you, we will. And we will because we're stupid like that. That's right. You know, we want to tell you because this is a public service watch announcement channel, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to buy your watch and we don't want to sell your watch. We just want to drop you some knowledge. That's all. So you guys won't get taken by these flim-flammers, these spoofballs, you know, these hucksters, these hoodwinks. You know, this is what we do. This is what we do best, give you all this information. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some, people that we have to thank today in our channel. You know, we do because they're giving us a lot of exposure. You know, they're promoting our channel and people are seeing who we are. They're looking at who we are and we want to thank them. We want to voice out who they are. And one of them is no other than Hermie the English Elf. You know Hermie the English Elf, from the United Kingdom, the English, the Englishman. You ever seen Santa Claus? He has an elf helper and his name is Hermie. If you don't know who Hermie is, you Google it. And this gentleman from the UK looks exactly like Hermie the Elf. Just look at the eyes. He's exactly like him, all right? So we want to thank you very much, Hermie the English Elf, for promoting our videos. He has an unbelievable video on our channel, in his channel. So go take a look at his channel so he can get his share of, views. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable, that Hermie the English Elf. He's unbelievable. I want to thank you very much for that, And we also want to thank another gentleman that we call Eugene, the San Francisco Cruising Cruiser. He's out there ready to wax your sinus congestion for free. And he's always putting videos of our channel and we're getting more exposure that way, from him too. So we want to thank Eugene. He's also known as Eugene, the Las Vegas Flashing Vagrant Buffalo Park Ranger Walker. He's unbelievable. He's just roaming the streets all over the place. Roaming. He's just roaming. And when he's in San Francisco, he's roaming. When he's in Vegas, he's roaming. He's over there. He's like a Buffalo Park Ranger, Walker, taking care of the buffaloes. So we want to thank you very much, Eugene, for the excellent job you're doing on promoting our channel. And ladies and gentlemen, we also want to thank another gentleman that, Sweet Kid Kino named them. No other than Jose Feliciano, for also taking his time to talk about specifically me and Sweet Kid Kino. We want to thank you very much, Jose Feliciano. Jose Feliciano, the gentleman with the black t-shirts, has nippleitis. He gets nippleitis, unbelievable. Jose Feliciano, you can't miss him, with the dark glasses. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. That guy, Jose Feliciano, unbelievable. Thank you very much, papá. Un beso, papi. Gracias por tu esfuerzo. Gracias por ayudarlo y promover el canal de Opus and Time Watches. All right? Okay, now that we got all that clear, we also have something else that we want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. But this channel, this organic watch channel, has reached an amount. This is something big, This is something big. This channel, it's unbelievable. We are so in shock because this is an organic watch channel with real views, real likes, real comments. You know what I'm saying? Real subscribers. What you see is what it is, And ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Kid Kino pointed out to me that this channel has reached to over 2 million organic views. Over 2 million organic views. Unbelievable. We know a company that does branding, and they told us that 2 million organic views is the equivalent to over 200 million views. Unbelievable, but true. That's what they told us. So that is something else that we are very grateful to, to you people in TV land, we call you TV land out there. You guys are unbelievable. We have over 2 million views, organic views, ladies and gentlemen. That's an unbelievable feat. So we're very happy, and we want to give you a little bit of more, a little blow here. All right, guys? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to talk about a subject now in a serious way, something that's happening out there that you guys should know about. Back in the 60s, Rolex Daytona, the Rolex Daytona watch models were producing Rolex Daytona watches for Fuerza Aerea del Peru. Fuerza Aerea del Peru. That's like the Air Force of Peru. And they were doing these watches, and they were putting a stamp. They were putting a stamp in the back of the back case. In the back case, and the picture you're going to see it. In the back case, you're going to see it says Fuerza Aerea del Peru. Air Force of Peru. And these watches were given to military servicemen, for their hard work that were giving to them. And also family members would be able to buy them at a discount, those watches. And basically those watches, they were back in the 60s, The models they were using were the 6239, the 6263, those model numbers, those reference numbers, and they were unbelievable, these watches. And they were not worth a lot of money, because at that time the Daytona watches were not, they were not no big thing. They were not a big thing. They were, I don't even want to tell you the price they cost in those days, but I don't know, $200, $150, something to that effect, right? But those watches started becoming, a fan of collectors, a fan favorite of collectors, and they wanted those watches. So a lot of people got those watches back in that time, those collectors, they wanted those watches, and they were like, they were really, these watches were highly sought by collectors due to their rarity and, unique military, it's an unbelievable watch, to be honest, And they also made the Fuerza Aerea del Peru. They also did it with the Omega watch too. But we're gonna stick with Rolex. But they did also do it, Fuerza Aerea del Peru on Omega watches, Seamaster, something to that effect, But we're gonna keep on talking about the Daytona. This watch, people were collecting them, and they were collecting them, left and right, but they were not really expensive, back in the day, $1,000, $1,500. But ladies and gentlemen, back in the mid 1997, 96, 98 to 2000, vintage watches hit big. It went nuts. The vintage watches were the most popular thing, and people were buying vintage watches left and right. And we're talking about specifically Rolex watches, and you had some Omegas too, So they were buying all those watches, and people were going nuts buying these watches. But there was something also happening while they were buying these watches. The watches that they wanted to buy were, the Paul Newmans and all that good stuff. But these watches, the Fuerza Aerea del Peru, with the stamp. They had a stamp in the back case. It had that word, Fuerza Aerea del Peru, on the back, as you can see in the pictures. It's unbelievable, And these watches were limited, production. These were limited production watches. These watches were unbelievable, and they had on the watch. You have on the 6, I believe, on the 6 o'clock number, you have the serial number, and on the 12 o'clock number, you have the reference number, right? But on these watches, on the Fuerza Aerea del Peru, they had it in the back case. They had some of them. Sometimes they had the serial number of the watch, and also behind the 6 and behind the 12, you had the reference and the serial number 2. So what happens is, back in 2000, a lot of people that were getting involved, in becoming a dealer, a watch dealer, this was their break right here with this watch right here. A lot of people made big money with this watch. And what they started doing was they started getting, Daytonas, old Daytonas. They were not expensive. You went to Central America, South America, those places, you would get all these old Daytonas. And what they were doing, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to surprise you what they were doing, but it is what it is. They were getting case backs, case backs, I don't know, from somewhere, probably from AliExpress, I don't know, from those China people, they were getting those case backs, and they were putting those stamps of Fuerza Aerea del Peru, the watch was, a Daytona, real Daytona, no Daytona, but the case was a Fugazi, with a stamp, with a stamp, or I don't know what you guys want to call it, engraved, but I said stamp, engraved, because if you see the pictures, you see how it looks, it wasn't that perfect. And so all these hucksters, flim-flammers, hoodwinks, grifters, scammers, crumb bums, started getting those case backs, from Alibaba. I'm just saying, maybe they had a bunch of those old cases, back cases, and in the drawers, and they started putting those engraved the word, Air Force from Peru, Fuerza Aerea del Peru. And those watches were going over $10, $20, $1,000 over, premium, and people were buying these watches. The collectors were going nuts buying these watches, these Daytonas with a silver dial, as you can see in the picture. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. People made serious money. And I'm telling you, a lot of the dealers that you see around today, that was their jump start to get involved in the watch dealing business. This is how they got their jump start. Saffing people, flim-flamming people, fleecing people, getting taken by that little back case, back case. They engrave, the word, that beautiful word, Fuerza Aerea del Peru, and this was a legit Rolex. The Rolex is totally legit, but that back casing was Fugazi. It wasn't the real thing. So a lot of people caught on to that, and they caught on that they were being taken, And once you get taken, back then in the late 90s, early millennium, you were taken. They got you, papi. Te jodieron. Te tumbaron el dinero. Te tumbaron la estilla. And I'm telling you, a lot of those Muppet boiler room secondary grade watch market dealers, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them, that was their jump start to becoming a dealer, a gray watch market dealer, unbelievable. And those watches were everywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, but at this moment in 2025, again, they are making those back cases, with the Fuerza Aerea de Italia, not only with the Daytona, but now they're doing it with a GMT Rolex. They're also doing it with the Omega Seamaster and all that good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to be awakened, because, vintage watches, it has its popularity out there, and it has its collectors, and collectors have real deep pockets. So, they see that, the Fuerza Aerea del Peru, they want it because it's a very, very rare. It's like the conjure, the conjure, or a Tiffany stamp, or a Cartier stamp on a Rolex, all that stuff. It's like that, So again, these flim flammers are coming back. The new ones, the new generation are doing that because people want this. They want that, and you can sell that watch today for big. I don't even want to tell you the numbers, but it's not going to cost you $20,000 one of those watches, or $30,000. Big money. So they've been spotted around. People are selling these watches with the fake case back, engraved with the Fuerza Aerea del Peru, from Peru. So you guys got to be very, very careful if you're looking at vintage watches and you're seeing that word, that word, Fuerza Aerea del Peru. You got to be very, very careful because they're doing it perfect. And some people are saying that they're buying those back cases, from China, from Ali something, I don't know. But I'm telling you this because this is a public service watch announcement channel, and we need to let you know what's happening out there so you guys can defend yourself from all these flim flammers. They're around. They're in New York. Most of them right now are in New York. So if you're looking at those watches in New York, be very, very careful. I want you to know that on the back case, it has the serial number and the reference number of the watch. Like I told you, it has the reference number at the 12 o'clock, the reference number, and it has the serial number at the 6 o'clock. The watch, the dial, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will find there the serial number, and at the 12, you'll find the reference number. And on the case back of one of those Fuerza Aerea del Peru, you'll find there both of those two things. Sometimes, sometimes, not every time, because this is back in the 60s, these watches back in the 60s. I think they were done from the 60s to the very, 79, 80, and they stopped, So they had like, I don't know, a 20-year run. And it was a limited production of those watches, limited. And people were going crazy. And today, they're back at it again. Flim flamming people out there with those watches. So you gotta be smart. You gotta be smart. The reference numbers of the watch are the 6239, 6263, and so on and so on. You gotta keep on looking into it. But this is unbelievable. You have to have a good eye. But I'm gonna tell you something else that the watch has. So you can be sure it has like a little red dot, and you have to have a real good eye to catch that. It has a little dot in the case, the back case, and it was kind of hard to do that part, to mimic that part. It was kind of hard to do. So if you are buying that watch, you got to buy it from somebody that's a very, very serious dealer. Or bring with you somebody that really knows about it, because in the engraving you can see a couple of things that are correct, on the letters, on the watch. But this watch right now, Fuerza Aerea is making a comeback in the circuit of flim flamming you, and fleecing you. Remember, I'm telling you, people in 2000, 98, 97 to 2000, this is how they got their big break, making big money, selling those watches. Back then, 98, 2000, you're making $30,000 a pop. You were making a lot of money. They say people from New York, a guy, with glasses, he made a ton of money, He looks crazy. He looks like, I don't know, those, I don't know, he's a strange looking guy, But from New York, a guy from New York with glasses. Unbelievable. He has a lot of parts, many parts. Whatever part you want, he has it. It's unbelievable. Rolex parts, dials, hands, stacks. He has them all. That guy, they say he made a killing. That was his jump start, I don't know his name. I'm going to have to ask. Kino, ¿tú te recuerdas el nombre del muchacho ese? Señor ese. Es feo. Feo con cojones. He's ugly. That's what Kino said. But anyway, so people had a stack of those parts, and you can make that watch once you put a fake case back, of Fuerza Aerea del Peru. It's a Frankenstein, it's not the real thing. So, like I said again, they were using it with Omega watches, they were using it with GMT watches, and most of all, the Daytonas, and those watches were giving away to military, officers, that they belong to the armed forces, Air Force of Peru. So be careful with those watches because they're floating around all over the place. There's a stack of case backs from Alibaba, AliExpress, all over the place, with that stamp. So if you look into that watch, be very, very careful. Be very careful. It's as you can see in the pictures, it's a silver dial, It's unbelievable. It's a Daytona, but it wasn't a porn human, It wasn't a porn human, and it didn't cost the same money as a porn human, and it didn't cost the same money as a regular Daytona. But suddenly, the collectors wanted it, and it became famous. It became very rare, and they cost a lot of money. So be aware if you're looking into those watches. Be very aware of those watches. Rolex Fuerza Aerea del Peru. It's a sought after collector's, watch. It's unbelievable. So be careful out there if you're looking at those watches. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to be talking about something that's very funny. They have this show coming up now that's called, Shark Watch. Like that guy Kevin something from Fish Tank, but now they're calling it, Shark Watch. And so it's the same people. The same people. You're gonna have their Deputy Droopy Butthole Eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut. You're gonna have Sinbad, from New York, from 47th. The guy with the man bun in the back, shaving the side. The Walrus Fat Bastard, is gonna be there. You're gonna have Jiminy Cricket with the spray can Chia Pet hair. You're gonna have all these people. It's a show they're making up now. It's a show. But let me explain this. This is a show to get you taken again. They're gonna buy watches from you. They're gonna buy watches from you, and they're gonna buy watches from themselves. To hype up the price, to make you think that prices are going up and they're paying heavy for those watches. But ladies and gentlemen, it's just another flim-flam way to get you taken. So if you are going to be looking at that show, prepare yourself. It's just a big sketch, among themselves. These guys are a bunch of cockroaches. These guys have more tricks in their bag than Felix the cat to get you to give them your children's tuition money and to give them your 401k. So remember, take a look at the show. From your favorite Muppet Boiler Room channels. Those guys are unbelievable. That guy, that gentleman, Deputy, Boxing Black Eyes. He has two names. He has Deputy Droopy Butthole Eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut. And he also has Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. He's unbelievable. This guy, he's somebody. Let me tell you something. You have to give credit where credit is due. And you have to give credit to Deputy Droopy Butthole Eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut. He can really think. And he has all these boys, all of them there, Jose Feliciano, the Walrus Fat Bastard, the Hungry Hippo, Mr. Magoo, I told Sweet Kid Kino to try to sell him a watch, see what he offers him, Unbelievable. Sweet Kid Kino might do that, So if you are going to be looking at that new show, Shark Watch, you got there a couple of those famous people. They're going to be there, If they need me, I'll come out on their show too, you know. But you gotta pay me to go because I'm organic. I'm for real. You know, this is no playing around here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy all this information that I just gave you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our video. We also have a private watch group, you know, on my Facebook page under Opus and Time Watches. You know, just scroll down to about him and request to get into the show, you know, get into the channel with us, you know. Unbelievable. That sweet Kikino, he's the owner of that channel, like he's the owner of this channel here too. You know, he's unbelievable. He's everywhere. Sweet Kikino has done an unbelievable job bringing all this information to you guys, you know. Without Sweet Kikino, this channel will be nothing, you know. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service watch announcement channel. All right, guys? Anyway, guys, take care and brush your hair.
The secondary brainwash market is dead!